just to make sure you're in the right place, you're here as a current 8th grade family looking to learn more about AMSA's upper school programming and what we have to offer in grades 9 through 12. Just some of the outline for tonight. We're going to go through the graduation requirements. Each department will give an overview. Like I said, you'll hear from all of our department chairs individually. Course selection process, college planning, and then I'll wrap up at the end and take over and present on AMSA athletics. Our athletic director, Pete Jones, is at some game out there somewhere right now, like he always is. And I told him that I would take care of the athletic slides. Anyone who's involved in the AMSA athletics right now from grades 6, 7 through 8, you probably have a good idea of what we have to offer at the high school. But just in case there are some, clarification, if you need any clarification, we will go through that at the end. All right. So here, we always start off showing this quote. We've been showing this quote for quite a while from an AMSA graduate, which says AMSA AMSA does more than just teach subjects. AMSA taught me how to think, how to take a problem, make it simple to solve. You can interpret that maybe in several different ways. I think that just speaks to how we operate at AMSA. Our teaching staff does a wonderful job of not just going through these memorization tactics and just trying to fly through curriculum and things of that nature. I think we do a great job of taking a deep dive into the material and teach multiple ways to attack a problem and to break things down strategically, to work together in groups, and know how to manage your time individually or in group work, and figure out how to solve problems in an effective way and also in multiple ways. And I do believe that we do a very nice job of preparing students throughout high school so that when they jump into college or any post-secondary plan that they have, whether it's the military, college, workforce, they'll know how to work with people and they'll know how to look at a problem and find multiple ways to solve it in an efficient manner. And that's what we're really all about here. So we like to share that direct quote from one of our AMSA graduates of the past. So let's get into, let me just fix my Zoom screen here quickly. Let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit. This information is outlined on in our student parent handbook. If you go on our school website, hopefully you're all somewhat familiar with the AMSA website. It has quite a lot to offer. There is a search tool at the top if you're looking for anything specific that you're having a hard time finding through our tabs that we feature. You can find it's pretty much a warehouse of everything we have to offer, all of our documentation. So what I'm showing you right here on this slide is outlined in our student parent handbook under the academic section. But this just outlines the minimum credit requirements for each subject level. And again, you'll hear from each department chair. They're going to the specifics of what each department has to offer for the core courses and for electives along the way. You'll see that math and English are the two areas where students they take a math and English course for all 4 years of high school. Science, history, computer science, there's a 3-year or 3-course requirement. And that just looks a little bit different because computer science are half-credit courses, which meet every other day for the vast majority of those. That's why it says 1.5 credit. Our history courses, science courses, those core courses are 1 credit. World language, our students, I think the vast majority of our students take at a minimum 3 years of world language. The minimum requirement is actually 2 years. That's rare. I think and Miss Preston can probably attest to this when she comes to her slide, but we have students that take part in world language for 3 to 4 years in high school on average. I know that's what colleges and universities really like to see as well. Phys Ed and Health is a required course that's taken every year. That's a half credit from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's why it comes out to 2. And then the fine arts, there's a minimum requirement of 2 classes to take, 2 half-credit courses. In total, students have to accumulate 28 total credits to be eligible for graduation. And also, as you all know, MCAS, students take the biology MCAS in 9th grade. They have to pass that, and then they have to pass math and the ELA MCAS in 10th grade. Give me a second here. Our course levels, which you probably have heard of. All of our courses here prepare students for college. CP or college preparatory classes, exactly what the name entails there. Courses are aimed at preparing our high school students for entry into colleges and universities. Our honors level courses do require some more in-depth study. It requires some more independent learning, and they definitely require some more effort as well. That's what we look at for the honors level courses. And then our AP program, which is a great program that we offer here at the school. Excuse me. Those are college level courses which are approved by the College Board. Everything runs through College Board. The AP tests take place every single May. Schedule comes out each year through College Board. We have a wonderful program and plenty of offerings as well, which you'll learn about in each department. All right, we're going to jump over to Ms. Schmidt in the mathematics department.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Luba Schmidt, and I'm the head of math department. Math department motto is actually the most important thing we teach our students is how to think logically and how to enjoy this process. So it doesn't matter what course or what level your students is taking at AMSA, you can be sure that actually the logical thinking will be part of their study and their actually joy. So as I'm here from the first year of AMSA, and during these years we actually built from my perspective, very comprehensive curriculum. So this curriculum is right now like outlines in front of you, the subjects we teach during high school years. So as you can see, in grade 9, your students will continue to learn algebra and geometry simultaneously. And then they proceed in probably in different pace, and I will comment on this a little bit later, but they will study ideas of pre-calculus, and majority of our students will study calculus. Calculus we teach on 5 different levels, actually. It is intro to calculus, calculus honors, 2 levels of AP calculus, and then multivariable calculus, differential equations that they can take as elective in 12th grade. So we strongly believe that studying ideas of calculus helps our students to understand the world around them deeper and better. So we are very proud of our calculus course selections. So as you can see, we have different paths in front of you. Students who struggle, we offer basic level that they can take in several years. We strongly believe that algebraic skills are base for all other mathematical courses that they will take either in at AMSA or later in college. So as you can see in the left column, if students struggling, we offer them algebra 3 algebra courses, algebra 1, algebra 2, and algebra 3. And algebra 3 actually is part algebra, part pre-calculus. So they see pre-calculus ideas as well. And our understanding that they succeed later, maybe in AMSA, maybe, like I said, later in college. If students are more advanced, they can move more quickly through algebraic course and move to pre-calculus and calculus. And if they are really advanced, they are introduced to ideas of calculus in 9th grade already, as you can see in the very right column, and then moving to pre-calculus, intro to calculus, and AP calculus. You see this table and you think, okay, so my students will be taking in 9th grade this course, what's next? So just have in mind that students can move diagonally in this table, and we do have students moving diagonally. Sometimes they struggle in 9th grade, but they mature later, and they actually keep and take the their pace quickly. And we see students diagonal all the way through the very left side to the very right side. And some students, vice versa, can move maybe in the other direction and think, okay, so I don't want more advanced math to my 11th grade or 12th grade. And though we definitely encourage students to work up to their potential, sometimes we understand that maybe some other ideas and courses are more important to them, so we can see some students moving in the other direction. And as you can see, we have many electives students can take in 12th grade. So in addition to this very important path of algebra, pre-calculus, algebra, geometry, actually, pre-calculus and calculus, they can take statistics on 2 levels, honor statistics and AP statistics, very popular courses. They can take one of our new courses, Math for Business and Economics, very interesting course that shows application of ideas, of math ideas to very important, areas. And very popular course, another very popular course, Accounting and Business Fundamentals. Many students take this course. We sometimes restrict the number of students taking this course. In addition to that, like I said, very high level multivariable calculus and differential equations with linear algebra. We proudly teach these courses on college level, and some students opt out of corresponding college courses after these courses, and some students actually take them in college, but they feel very well prepared and they come back and tell us, yes, we understand that much better than all others students around us. So we are proud of that. So actually this we hear a lot that many of our alumni coming back and saying, yes, the math preparation for college was absolutely comprehensive and deep. So thank you, AMSA. So this is what we are proud about. Okay, so if you have any, one more thing, we strongly believe that the fact that we're studying algebra and geometry in parallel, and some of geometry courses we teach for 2 years, and some in geometry courses we teach only in 9th grade, because we continue our geometry study from grade 7 and 8, as you know. So we strongly believe that this is another very important part of our curriculum. And we offer one elective geometry course that is not listed here, but once again, very deep and high-level geometry course that you definitely should consider and, tell your students to consider as a continuation of geometry. So if you have any questions, I will try to answer as many as possible. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Schmidt. Appreciate. Thank you, Ms. Schmidt. I am trying to click to the next slide, see if it works. And it does. Next up is Mrs. Marty Richardson, representing our English department.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your day to stop by and learn a little bit more about the upper school curriculum. I'm the head of the English department. I've been at AMSA for 15 years. I've been a teacher for 25, maybe a few more years. I'm going to share a little bit about the English department with you and what your kids are going to learn over the next 4 years. We kind of continue with our historical study of literature, canonical literature, a lot of classics you'll see in the curriculum. We also like to incorporate more contemporary works, current journalism, nonfiction, And we have a heavy emphasis on writing, I think, and critical thinking. I think those are two things that we excel at AMSA, and I think we graduate some of the best, writers, all from CP level all the way up. They all are fairly strong writers, and they all come back and tell us that freshman English was a piece of cake because they had such a strong writing background from AMSA. And in fact, a lot of kids come back and tell me, kids again from all levels, that their freshman English professors use their essays as an example of how to do it right. So anyway, a little bit about the curriculum. In ninth grade, we kind of continue the historical study of literature. We start with the medieval period. We're reading the Canterbury Tales. Well, not all of them. A sample from the Canterbury Tales right now, and a little bit from Paradise Lost, and then we move into more contemporary works of literature with a sort of theme of conflict and identity. The college prep and the honors, they do the same literature. The difference is that in the honors level, it's a little faster paced. They'll cover a little bit more in terms of some of the classical literature like the Canterbury Tales and Paradise Lost, but both CP level and honors level study the same works. So they'll get the same sort of overview, historical perspective on literature, and plenty of practice writing. Again, the difference between the college prep level and the honors level is that there's a little more independent work at the honors level, a little more support for skills building at the college prep level. And that's 9th and 10th grade both. Again, if you can see the chart right there, it's again kind of a historical progression, although it does jump around a little bit. 10th grade will be the Renaissance to World War II. We try to align with history as much as possible. It doesn't always work out perfectly, but it helps if kids have an historical background and information about the literature that they're reading. So we try and line that up as much as possible. Grade 11 is American literature. And in the 11th and 12th grade, we add a level. They're also eligible to take AP language or AP literature. Both courses are offered to both 11th and 12th graders. So, again, it helps with scheduling a little bit. And it really is not necessarily terribly important that they take one or the other first and second. They both help kids with similar skills. The difference is that AP Literature studies fiction and poetry and drama, and AP Language, the kids study nonfiction works. The other thing we offer at AMSA, quite a few electives in English. For 9th graders, we offer journalism and creative writing. Those are both half-credit courses. And for 10th through 12th graders, they can take journalism and creative writing. They can also take, next year, they can take philosophy through film. Sometimes these change up a little bit. In past years or recently, we've offered sci-fi and fantasy literature as an elective and children's literature as an elective. That's running this year, but it's not running next year. But it probably will run again in the next couple of years. In the senior year, students can choose between 3 different core electives. They can choose Shakespeare, which obviously is the study of Shakespeare and a variety of Shakespearean plays. We do some Shakespeare plays in 9th and 10th grade both, and in 8th grade as well. If your students are going to get to that later on this year. So they can take a more in-depth course if they want to do a deep dive into Shakespeare drama. They can take Gothic literature if they're interested in that, or they could take contemporary world literature, which is literature of the last 50 years or so. So yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions about electives or questions about the curriculum. So thank you for your attention, and if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. You can always email me too.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Richardson. Sorry, I keep being muted. I'm muted all the time now. Ms. Jagelski, take it over for science.
Hi guys, I'm sorry my video is not working, but I will. I'm Ms. Jagelski. I've been here since 2007. I worked and started with the 6th grade back then in 2007, and then, circled back now. This year, I'm also teaching 6th grade along with some of the upper level research classes. So it's a fun time. The nice thing about the science courses and options is that we have the ability for students to come into 9th grade with biology. So they're going to take the bio MCAS at the end of 9th grade. It's a requirement. They technically don't have to take it until the end of 10th grade, but because we put biology in at 9th grade, it gives them an extra year to be able to pass, which is awesome. And it helps to make sure that they feel super successful. And since they're coming off of 3 years of biology with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, it sets them up for a lot of success. And our students really feel that like MCAS is, sort of a step that they have to walk over versus feeling like it's a big hurdle. And that sort of minimizes the stress and anxiety of taking their first MCAS that counts towards graduation. So we're really happy that we can offer something where they can feel super successful. And if they're not successful on the first chance, we have many opportunities to help them cross that hurdle before they get into like their MCAS for math and English. So we're really excited about starting them in 9th grade. With biology, and part of the new piece to 9th grade is that when you go to sign up for course selections, you will only see CP biology. And that is a record keeping component, but we do something called earned honors distinction, which means that our classes are unleveled at the 9th grade level. They go in as everybody being a CP student in biology, and then based upon completing honors level work within their class, so whether it's extra questions on a quiz, an additional reading project, an additional set of handouts, or additional parts to a project, then they can earn their honors distinction. And then that grade book at the end of the year, they get transferred into an honors grade book. From there, in 10th grade, we allow students to slide up into either honors chemistry or CP chemistry, and they have the opportunity to take AP biology if they really love and are passionate about biology. The door opens for AP bio in 10th grade. The only caveat to that is that they have to also be in honors chemistry because they need the chemistry to be able to be successful on the AP test. So that's a tandem, almost handcuffed kind of class if they go in as sophomores. If they go into AP Bio as a junior or senior, they could have come through CP Chem, they can come through CP Physics, and it's totally fine. They just want to take it for the experience. We are glad to have them. We then slide over into 11th grade, which again has both the option of college or CP level physics and or honors physics. And then you also have the ability to pick up the electives for AP Biology or AP Chemistry. And then senior year, we have the ability for all these electives to open up, plus all 3 science APs are available. Now, we have a bunch of electives that actually open starting in grade 10. That's anatomy, physiology, environmental, sustainability is one class. And then Discovering Wild New England, and then meteorology are our other classes that round out our cool electives. Now, what makes the science department a little bit unique is that we have science research. Science research happens to be, there are 5 of them, if I remember correctly, biochem, which is our field, and then our field research, which is our ecology. We have a geochemistry / hydrology component, scientific instrumentation, and then astronomy. And what's cool about these courses is that students can enter into them, starting sophomore year, and then they have the ability to maintain a research project for 3 years. So this is student driven. They may inherit a program from a former student who is working on something really cool, and our incoming student thinks it's really cool too. And so they can take over a project that a previous student has been working on, but they have the ability to re-enroll in their classes for up to 3 years. And the only major it's a cool, safe place to fail because there aren't tests and quizzes in research. It is, are you sciencing? Are you doing the work? Are you trying? Has it failed? Have you documented it? Here is where zeros and no data can be an answer. And as long as you're documenting it, you're a successful scientist. And the only other caveat you have to do is be able to present in the spring at Science Night, which is a big poster presentation. You guys should all come down and see it this spring and look at what it's coming to. And yeah, I also can answer any questions at the end, but that pretty much sums up the sciences and all of the cool things that we have going on.
All right, Miss J, thank you very much. Let's see. For some reason, I keep muting myself or something's going on. All right, next up is computer science and engineering, and that's with Mrs. Bandaru.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming to listen to us continuously talk at you. But I think it is a good source of information for middle school students coming into high school. Like Mr. Naraki has mentioned before, AMSA is a very special space where it was the school where computer science is in the core for majority of the years. Like, you know, you can take you have to take 1.5 CS credits to graduate. But the focus, what we try to do, on this one is to focusing on succeeding at the end of their graduation, that they are ready for some kind of internships or like, you know, get out of some of the college courses. When I say get out, they will be given credit because I have known some of the alumni students actually taking CS1 and CS2 courses because they tested out of some of the courses. But that is the hope that we are hoping that majority of the students get out of it. But more than that, my intention is to build confidence in each and every student of mine, saying that like build your own confidence level while you're not losing your creativity, but we want to polish your critical thinking skills. Not in this current world, we know that one problem cannot be solved in only one single way. There are multiple ways to solve it, but who has the most efficient way and who has the most creative ways what we try to encourage our students to focus on. And so to start with that, we have 2 different paths that we try to do. One is the digital media publishing part, which is the intro to web design. We go that path. Or the other part is the intro to Java, where people who are more interested in programming will take that path. You can try both of them over the next course of 3 years, the intro to Java, intro to web design, and intro to CAD, so that you have the foundational skills to all. But in 9th grade, they have only 2 options. You pick this intro to Java path or intro to web design. From there, much more options open. In grade 10, if you take intro to Java as a prereq, people are allowed to take AP computer science, which is much deeper, and the college level, college board has an exam to it, like just like any other AP course. Intro to CAD is a place where they get introduced to spatial thinking, how to use geometry in using computer-aided design and drafting, where you can use that. So that is one path. And if you take intro to web design, advanced web design. So every single year we add new courses, but that doesn't mean you are not allowed to take the courses that are offered in grade 9 and grade 10. So it is pretty much open. But there are prerequisites that you need to pay attention to. For example, advanced CAD that is offered for grade 11 should at least have does have a prerequisite of intro to CAD. Digital media, on the other hand, has to have a prerequisite of intro to Java or intro to web design so that they can try digital media. Intro to robotics is the same thing. Intro to the data science course, the prerequisite is AP computer science, which is much more higher level, college level course and advanced course, and it is an accelerated course. Students will be working at much faster pace. So when we reach grade 12, they have much broader platform that they have learned. They're introduced to different perspectives in different paths of computer science. So they can either go to ArcMech design, which is an engineering part of it, where Mr. Morris teaches them about architect and mechanical design. Cybersecurity, where they will actually see, and cryptography, where they will be introduced about the different things that are happening in the current world. Discrete math, which is a high-level math course. We co-designed that course with our math department teachers, and we have been running that successfully for 4 to 5 years right now, which serves as a stronger foundation whether people want to pursue math as a college focus or CS as a college focus. This math course serves as a foundation to that. Apart from these, CS and engineering research, we also offer that. The networking, which is which is introduced this year because we got some funding from MathWorks. People are going to be taught networks. If you pursue it with rigor, you can actually take the certification so that you're ready for some kind of work immediately after high school. Now, this year we introduced a course called Full Stack Development, where Mr. Bakla runs this course, where the students work together as a startup company. Like, it has the premise of a startup company. They take up a project, work with the teacher, and throughout the year there is deployment that is involved in it. All of these things, anything that needs to be taken care of, they will address all of that, and it runs so smoothly. I'm so proud of my kids that are in this class right now. So it seems so broad and high level, but we have our teachers who are masters and professionals in these, that stand by our students to support them in day in and day out. So we take pride in our computer science curriculum here, and we would do anything and everything in our capability to help our students succeed in this course. So please reach out to me if you have any questions, any further questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I built this curriculum since 15 years from scratch. I have been here 15 years at AMSA. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bendaro. Next up, we have Miss Murphy, who's going to talk to us about the history department.
Yeah, thank you. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Miss Murphy. It's great to see you tonight. I had about 80 or so of your students when they were in 6th grade, but now I'm just in the high school level. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about what high school history looks like. So continuing in 9th grade, we're really building upon the chronological progression of history that we set up in 6th grade when students begin to study ancient history. So 9th grade history picks up with where 8th grade history will end, and it's a modern world history course. So students are picking up right around the time of the Renaissance, a little bit after that. They're continuing the threads and everything up through the French Revolution, and that's really kind of the heart of the beginning of that year. And then they continue on to the modern day. So they'll get into a study of the World Wars and the Cold War, and then just kind of looking at the world today. Our 10th grade is a big shift. It's the first time that we start studying U.S. history as its own dedicated class. Some of the threads of U.S. history are kind of present in 8th grade and 9th grade as they're relevant. But really, for the most part, they are, the actual dedicated study begins in 10th grade. And US 1 goes from 1491, pre-Columbian contact, basically, to the end of Reconstruction in 1877. And then 11th grade picks up with that. They do usually a few weeks on just reviewing Reconstruction and then continuing on into the modern day. So they'll see a lot of the same topics that they studied in 9th grade, but looking at them from a US perspective, and having that world history context can be really helpful for them. We do not require a 12th grade history class, but we offer a lot of fantastic electives. As you can see, we have our elective chart in the middle there. The only elective that 9th graders can take is Modern Africa. And as they progress into, the high school years, there will be more that are available to them. We also offer our non-AP electives in a rotating format. So Modern Africa will not be available next year, they will not be available in 2 years. But it will be available again when your students are in 12th grade, or 11th grade rather. So we try to alternate so that students have a variety of courses throughout their high school years and know that they usually have 2 times to take them. We do have several AP courses as well. Most of these are an additional course that students can take, with the exception of AP US History that's offered starting in 11th grade. And if students opt to take that course that year, it will take the place of their US History 2 course. If they really want to, go through US 1 and US 2 as sophomores and juniors, they have the option to take the AP level with that foundation as 12th graders. But again, it wouldn't count for the graduation requirement at that point. One of the biggest distinctions, as you probably noticed on here too, and similar to some of the other departments, is we do start offering a difference between honors and CP courses starting in 9th grade. So this is something that Ms. Cook, our 8th grade history teacher, has done a lot of work already around preparing students for the recommendation for whether honors or CP is the best fit for them. Honors tends to be a little bit more writing intensive, more independent work, usually a little bit of a faster pace, have just kind of in general some higher expectations. And then college prep would be a better option for students who really struggle with writing or even the reading comprehension piece, critical analysis, all of that stuff. The nice thing is that if students really excel in CP at any point, they can be recommended for an honors or even an AP class in later years. So taking CP as a freshman does not keep them in that level or bar them from taking anything else in the future. It's just they'll have to work, a little bit harder. So to move from a CP to an honors class, we do expect a grade, in the B+, A- level. To move from the CP to AP, students would need a solid A average for that. So that's just one thing to keep in mind when deciding between honors and CP. Again, you're looking for a little bit more independent work, a little, kind of higher expectations and all that, or are you looking for more support around the skills that are really important in history, like writing, like reading comprehension, all of that. Again, all of our electives are outlined in our program of study, so you can see what will be on offer starting in 10th grade, and again, what that rotation looks like. But the only elective that, again, does not count for any kind of graduation requirement that's offered for 9th grade is the Modern Africa course. And yeah, I'll keep it brief. That's kind of the need to know information, so I'll pass it on to the next person.
All right, thank you, Ms. Murphy. Next up, we have Ms. Preston. Mrs. Preston will present on world languages and the fine arts, as well as that's her role as department chair for both those sub-departments, if you will. So take it away, Mrs. Preston.
All right. Thank you so much. Good evening and welcome again, everyone. I'm Sarah Preston. This is my 14th year at AMSA. Time flies. I can't believe it. I actually started the same year as Mr. Naraki. So I will try to keep this short since I either have the fortune or misfortune of being the last academic department chair to go. So I imagine some of you might be getting a little tired, but I'm happy to tell you all about our world languages in the high school. So soon your children will be able to decide if they want to continue on with Latin or to begin taking French or Spanish. And so students who wish to continue on with Latin will be recommended to either Latin 2 CP or Latin 2 honors. And typically we have 1 to 2 sections usually of Latin and a few sections of Spanish, 1, and at least 1, if not this year, we have 2 sections of French 1. So it really changes year to year, but we have strong programs offered in all 3 languages. One thing that I want to make sure to mention is that we are offering a placement test in French and Spanish right now. We just had a community update go out about that. So thank you, Mr. Finkel, for sending that out. Students or parents should email me if they wish to take the placement test. It's an online placement test that is under an hour, and students can do this during directed study or after school, and I'll coordinate that with them. So this would be students who perhaps participated in an immersion program, or if they took some middle school language, or if they have if they speak another language at home. Definitely would encourage you to take the placement test to determine if you should be placed into a higher level. Every year we have at least a pretty good number of students who are 9th grade that are placed in a level 2 class, and this year we even have some 9th graders in Spanish 3 honors. So definitely reach out to me if you'd like to do the placement test. So the traditional model is for 9th graders, if they choose to be in French or Spanish, they would be in level 1. And then as of 10th grade is when it splits off between college prep and honors. And so really the similar to some of the other departments, the main difference is just that the honors class moves at a little bit of a faster pace and is a little bit more writing intensive. But students can certainly move up, you know, if they're into CP and want to be more challenged, they can certainly move up into 3 honors if they are, you know, showing strong effort in the current college prep. And then during the 4th year, students could take either, so for French it would be, or Spanish, it would be either AP, French or Spanish, or level 4 CP or honors. And the CP or honors course, the level 4 course, is really a film and culture class. It's a very interesting class that looks at, students study the cultural and historical context of a Francophone country or a Spanish-speaking country, and then they watch a movie in the target language and discuss and analyze it afterwards in the target language. And so students actually have the option of taking both French 4, which is the film and culture class, as well as AP French, or they could take the AP French class first. Perhaps it's rare, but for them to take it as a junior, for example, and then to take the French film and culture afterwards. And likewise, that's the same for very similar sequence with our Spanish class. But we have a really terrific, strong program in Spanish. This year we have actually 20 students in our AP Spanish class with Ms. Arteaga. She's a terrific teacher. And we have students who also take the Spanish film and culture class simultaneously, or like I said, following the AP Spanish class. Latin, we also have a terrific program in Latin. Again, students who have been here at AMSA would take Latin 2, CP or honors, their 9th grade year. And then 10th grade is when we really delve into poetry. And then Latin 4 is prose. And then we also have AP Latin or Latin 5, which is more of a cultural focus. So again, we offer AP in all 3 languages. And the goal for the languages, for all 3 languages, is for students to achieve at least intermediate high in fluency, which is also the designation for the Biliteracy State Seal, which is a program also that we run that you'll be hearing about more from me in the next week or so, where students are recognized for being able to be proficient in another language in addition to English, not just French, Spanish, and Latin, but any world language. So that is a program that you'll hear about me more another night, not tonight. And I think we'll move on to fine arts now, because I know we're getting probably low on time. So for our art electives, students are required to take at least 2 years or 1 full credit. And we have a wide range of art courses offered. Most of these are offered every year. There are a few that alternate years, and I'll talk about which ones those are in a moment. So chorus is a class that we have every year, and that is what's really interesting about that class, is that the final exam is the chorus performance. So we just a couple of weeks ago had the chorus perform at the Winter Arts Night along with the jazz band, the American Music Club, and a cappella. That was awesome. And then chorus will be performing again at the Spring Arts Night, which I'll do a little plug for that, to save the date, which is on Thursday, May 23rd. That is our Arts and Science Night that we run together, both arts and science in May. And that's an amazing event. So mark your calendars for that. And then we have a number of art courses also that we offer every year. 3D art, always a very popular course. Choice-based art, another super popular course, where students can elect which medium they'd like to focus on. They first explore a variety of media, and then they can focus on one in particular. This next year, we have the first time Advanced Choice-Based Art 2, and that will be offered for grades 10 through 12th grade. Drawing and painting is a course that we offer every year. That is a prerequisite for AP. And then we have a couple courses that are offered in alternate years. So multicultural art will be running next year. And the following year, we will run myth and art. Western art masterpieces is another really popular art course that we offer every year for all grades. And then we have digital animation, which is offered for juniors and seniors. And we have yearbook, which, although it does not fulfill the fine arts requirement, is a really valuable class as well, and gives people a hands-on look at how to put together the yearbook. And last but certainly not the least, we have the culminating course, which is AP Studio Art, and that is an art course that students need to be recommended to. So it's by teacher recommendation. It's for juniors and seniors, and it is the only art course that is a full credit course. And students have, the AP students have their artwork on display at Arts Night, and it's always really incredible to see their artwork. So I think if anyone has any, it's always kind of a whirlwind to go through it all, but I'm happy to answer any questions about either world languages or fine arts. The only other thing I meant to say for world languages, just to finish, is that although it is just 2-year requirement for world languages, most of our students take at least 3 years, and a huge number take 4 years. Is that many colleges like to see at least 3 consecutive years of a world language. So I would encourage people to try to take at least 3 years. So thank you so much. Please reach out if you have any questions.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Preston. Next up, we're going to hear from Kate Driver. She's going to talk. You all received a quite an informational email, a few preview emails, but today we just sent out the course selection update and gave a bunch of information out to all families in grades 8 through 11. All of your students also received an email directly from me with that same information. So I'll let Ms. Driver take away and sort of summarize what you've all received in earlier on today.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. So I'm Kate Driver. I'm the Director of School Counseling. This is my 7th year at AMSA and I think my 16th year as a counselor. So course selection, we are just about ready to open those course selection forms. School counselors in the lower school have been in directed studies for the last 2 days. I think we've been in 5 out of the 7 directed studies for 8th grade to go over the process, to talk through a slightly less in-depth version in terms of curriculum with all of your students, but to talk about what they should expect next year, what it looks like when they log in online to PowerSchool. And they are also going to have some appointment times open next week so that if your students have any questions that they'd like to ask their counselor, they can pop in and have a chat. The course form opens on February 6th, which is, I believe, next Tuesday, and it closes on the 14th. So students have just a little bit over a week. The students can only fill out the form one time, so it's really important that they're thoughtful in making their choices. And we ask that they come home and talk with you before they get in there and hurry and click submit. I think these are really discussions that are important and thoughtful, and we know that you have lots of wonderful experience to help them select what's right for them. So teachers are entering recommendations for next year's courses for math, English, world language, and history. So when students log in, they will see what their teachers are recommending for them, and then there are a couple places where they have a lot of choices. Go to the next slide, please. Students take a minimum of 7 credits each year, but 7.5 are recommended, especially in 9th grade. In just a minute, you'll see a sample of the schedule of a course load, not necessarily a schedule. We also recommend that students take an art or chorus in addition to computer science class in 9th grade. It's really helpful to continue or to start working on the graduation requirements so that all of the wonderful electives that you've heard about tonight are open to them by the time they're in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So students no longer have a directed study when they reach high school. Students who select 7.5 credits will have 1 study hall every other day, and students who select 7 credits will typically have 2 study halls. We try to balance it so it's a study hall each day. The study halls are definitely run a little bit differently. They're multi-grade. It's really just a quiet time for students to work on their work. Some students are able to sign out and meet with teachers, but it's definitely a little bit different than directed study. And so it's important that you know that. All right, so here is an example of a course load for a freshman. You'll see the core courses that we've talked about tonight: English, 2 math courses, history, biology, a language, physical education, intro to Java, Western art, and that all adds up to 7.5 credits. So students will have some choice. We definitely have some students who opt to take something and wait on a computer science or an art class. But again, this is pretty typical of a standard 9th grade course load. A few things to consider. There are lots of prerequisites, as you've probably heard tonight, and it's really hard to keep track of all of them. So they're all listed in the program of studies, and they'll also be available in PowerSchool for students to see when they're signing up. We also really want to prioritize time management and stress management. There are homework estimates that are in the program studies, and we sent home a time management form with the email that Mr. Finkel sent today. So we do suggest that families go through and look at the estimated amount of homework for the courses that students are considering, and also think about their other commitments outside of school. We know that many of our AMSA students are very involved in their local communities, in athletics, both in school and outside of school. We have folks who are involved in lots of clubs, and that's really exciting, and we certainly encourage that. At the same time, it's really important to have a balance so that students are also sleeping. Sleep is really key to so many functions, as we know. And so it's important to think about what are students taking on before they get in either sort of too far and they have so much homework that they're not sure how to manage it, to really think about that time. 9th grade does a quote unquote count on transcripts and GPA. So when a student graduates from AMSA, we have a transcript that has their 4 years of high school, so 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. It shows final grades for the first 3 years of school, and then we show kind of grades in progress for seniors. And that's what's sent to colleges and universities. For many of you, you're familiar with that information, but for some folks who didn't necessarily go to school in the American educational system, it's hard to know like what will eventually be seen outside of AMSA. And so we do like to remind folks that 9th grade does count in transcript and GPA. And so it's, this is the first year that grades might eventually be reported outside of AMSA. A quick plug for our counseling services. So we are really working to help support students feeling balanced, feeling healthy, and being equipped with coping skills to succeed at AMSA and beyond. We have grade level seminars in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade that we've been working on for the last couple of years. And so we see your students multiple times each year. We offer a lot of evening programming. And we also aim to have each student have the same school counselor for 4 years of high school, just as they had the same counselor for their middle school time. So they will have a new counselor next year, and we always look forward to getting to know our new 9th graders. It's a lot of fun for us, and hopefully they enjoy getting to experience high school and getting to know their high school counselor. That person eventually will write their letter of recommendation, help them in the college search process or other post-secondary planning that they may want to do.
All right, folks. I think we started right at 6:03 p.m. I said we're usually about an hour long, so I have about 3 minutes or so by my count. I hope the chat is working. I don't know if Mr. Finkel, you're on right now. I haven't seen many questions pop up, but maybe that's a good sign. Maybe we're just answering everything as we go. Anyway, I do want to touch. I'm taking Mr. Pete Jones. Some of you, if you're involved in our athletic program right now, I'm sure you're well aware of who Mr. Jones is. If you're not involved right now, but potentially your students looking to get involved in the athletic program, Mr. Jones is our athletic director. He's out on the road right now, and I'm just covering these slides for him. Just so everyone knows, AMSA has a very competitive athletic program. We're part of the Colonial Athletic League. We're a member of the MIAA, and we have a great program run by a great director. I think Mr. Jones won, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, he won Athletic Director of the Year in Massachusetts. He's the real deal. He gets things done. He's very organized, great communicator. So any of the information that you ever need, you can find all of it on our website, or you can email him directly for any key updates and things of that nature. As you can see, we have 23 different varsity programs, 37 different teams, and AMSA students, all the students in grades 6 through 12 are eligible to participate in all the varying levels that we offer, which we have varsity, JV, freshman, and middle school programming. These slides coming up, just real quick, it's going to go fall, then winter, then spring. Just shows our offerings. You can see one of the great things, I think, we co-op in several sports in the different seasons. So we do offer field hockey with we co-op with Marlboro, we co-op with Maynard in varsity JV football, competitive dancing, we co-op at Hudson. That's great. Those are 3 core towns right there that we collaborate with directly, and it's a great partnership, great opportunity for our students to actually meet students from some of our core towns, develop those relationships, and work with those particular coaches. Varsity JV soccer is something that we have here at AMSA middle school, varsity cross country, freshman JV, and varsity volleyball and varsity golf. Those are AMSA specific sports. So if you don't see co-op next to it, that means that it's a true full-on AMSA program. You'll see here for the winter, right now, currently, our hockey girls, we have a co-op with Algonquin Regional. Our boys hockey, we co-op with Marlboro High. We also co-op in gymnastics with Marlboro High. The other sports listed above are AMSA sports. Again, all very successful programs, great opportunities for all the students who are interested in any of these sports in this season. One important thing to remember, Mr. Jones does send out registration well ahead of the upcoming season. Just pay attention to those as they come out, and there's a little blurb up there about when winter sports beginning right after Thanksgiving, and they run through mid-March. Then we move on to spring sports. Those registrations will be coming out pretty soon. Believe it or not, we're already almost there. And you can see softball, baseball, lacrosse, those are internal programs. And some more, one more co-op that we have, boys tennis with Marlboro High School. Girls tennis is an AMSA internal program. Then we have middle school and varsity outdoor track and field. I do want to point out that in our athletic program, there is always at a minimum at least one sport per season that is a non-cut sport, meaning there are no roster cuts. If you try out and put in the effort, you will make the team for at least one sport per season. So there's always an opportunity for any student interested in athletics to join at least one sport, which does not make roster cuts. That is the end of our program. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and spending some time with us.